Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz on the Improviser's Guide Network. Now is the time.
Forever?
Miss tomorrow.
Old.
A minute and a half.
Hashtag always MGM.
Step out to your right.
Old.
The
Drink.
secret staircase.
We always do that.
You are approaching the unloading area.
Behold the majesty of the Sistine Ceiling.
For the kids.
A salute to all theme parks, but mostly Walt Disney World.
What a cute ending.
Aloha and welcome aboard.
I mean, at the end of the day, because literally, first, when you hit record, you don't really know when it actually hits the point at time of recording. So you just start rambling and things happen.
Actually the start of the show now.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Talking right here.
Just all talking.
Oh, my bad.
If you look, Shep, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, it says recording.
Oh, I see that now. Oh, my goodness. Yes, I see that.
This
is
Theme
when I
Park
freeze.
Thursday.
This is when I freeze and I just look at the red dot the whole entire time.
Why is it? Why does it say recording? What are we doing? Why? What are we doing wrong? I did nothing wrong.
That's still the opening, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
I am Frank, and if you haven't already, sensed it, it's madness in the room. In the virtual room, it is madness. For we have a crew. We have a whole team
group.
here.
Yeah.
A gaggle. I don't know.
A gaggle.
A Google.
I don't know.
A Google.
It's okay.
A Google. A gaggle.
It's a flamboyance.
Do we have to pay if we call you guys Google? I don't know. I don't really want to.
That's a good point.
I don't want to get sued for that.
I retract that statement. We're not a Google.
But we already know we're gonna be off the rails. So
yeah.
we wanted to just start in that proper place.
Yeah.
The rails, and we're cool with it because it's what's going on these days. Jen, I'm gonna turn over the formal introduction.
Oh, I should have wrote a script to properly introduce, but I think I'll get you all to introduce yourselves individually as well. But together, collectively, you will know these four individuals as the Diz in that crew. Hello, boys. Welcome to the show.
Thanks
Hey,
for
Jen.
having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. This is awesome.
Guys, first of all,
They got all proper.
thank you.
Channel change. No
No longer
change.
off the rails. I'm going to be very serious, and I'm going to treat
Yeah.
this like
Just
a
put on a
business meeting.
tie.
We
Actually, I
appreciate
have a
the
shirt and tie
invitation.
right now.
Yeah,
You guys
thank
just
you
don't see
so
it.
much. Well, thanks for coming on, guys. I'm so excited.
Super pumped.
We're happy to be here. Thank you.
Do we want to go around the Zoom room here? You guys can introduce yourselves, what you do individually, maybe, and then we can kind of come together as your group. And,
I'm too nervous. I'm not starting.
All right, you don't have to start. Who would
the
like
bald-
to begin?
Go to the bald guy first.
Steve, you start.
Steve,
Fine,
read
I'll
the
start.
chat.
Go to the bog.
I'm not
Go
the
to
bald
the bald
guy.
guy.
Read the
first.
chat, Steve.
As short as this hair is, I get the most hair of all of us.
Ooh.
Who's the bald guy here?
I got a hat on, so you can't tell.
So yeah, there is no chat to read. So I am Steve, and I unfortunately have to read the chat because Shep can do it, but it just takes a half hour. The other two,
Hey, listen.
yes.
I'm not gonna interrupt you this early, but I'm gonna interrupt you this early because
You were interrupting
I
before
can
we
read
started.
chat when I need. I'm just not good at it.
You're very
I
good
will
at it.
admit
You're
when I'm
just-
wrong, and I'm
just,
wrong.
It's just slower than I do. So, but anyways, I'm Steve. I go live on Mondays.
I read people like 8 times over and over.
So I go live on Mondays at 8:00 with my channel's name is Steve's World. The hashtag slogan has to change.
Hashtag all things fun.
It's not going to be.
It is all
That'll never go
It
anywhere.
started out as a toy channel. It started out as a toy channel, and that's where it came from. It
And
was
you're
my-
sort of still a toy channel because you dress up like toys, basically.
Well, I got my little Baby Yoda toy right here. So.
Oh,
Excellent.
But no, we go live on Mondays, and but I really enjoy. As bad as I get picked on and interrupted all the time, I
it's
prefer
not
to be.
picked on, it's love.
I prefer to be with these guys.
Be clear.
Than on my own. So
Oh, that's
I
so
love 'em.
nice. Excellent.
that's why I had to go first. Now they're gonna.
Now we can't roll.
All right, who's going to be next?
Go Zip.
Should I? Okay.
All right, yeah, I'll go next. My name is Boston Zip.
Wait,
No.
that's the first time I've ever heard that, but okay.
Oh, whoa,
My
did you
first
change
time
your
too.
channel
I guess
name?
we're gonna run with
I
that.
just changed it tonight.
Well, if we get to change our names, I want to redo.
Start over.
No, I'm Zippity Doodad. I go live on Tuesdays at 6:30. You have overwhelming love for Disney. Found these guys, and it's just blossomed from there. And I've started my YouTube channel because of my son, because he's hilarious. I do some live streams with him. And like you said earlier, we're off the rails because our slogan is hashtag on topic, off topic, which will probably be off topic most of the night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Dave?
Oh,
All right.
oh.
My name is Dave. I am
Oompa Loompa.
the lesser half of Brandy and Dave on YouTube. Disney Focus channel, Disney Family channel. We occasionally put videos out. Apparently, there's been fewer during a quarantine. Like, I should be like banging stuff out at this point, and it's not happening. But you can find us all over everything. We do live streams occasionally, but mostly video and on the TikTok, which I'm sure will be a topic later this evening. But,
I want to redo now.
Thanks for want to redo.
I want to talk TikTok.
We'll talk TikTok.
That's why I always want to go last.
for
Yeah.
sure.
We'll have a
Um,
TikTok segment.
We will for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me back on. This is
Yeah. Second appearance, Dave.
second appearance for me. I'm pumped.
Exciting.
Super pumped to be here with the boys.
Yes.
We have a blast, so we'll get into that here shortly, I'm sure, and I will turn it over to the ringleader, the Murdoch, if you will, of our crew. One, Mr. Shepard.
Focus ball.
It's the first time he's ever been called the Murdoch of the group.
I don't know who this Shep guy you're talking
Oh,
about.
jeez, here we go.
You're absolutely ridiculous, and I completely am offended right now.
Of course you are.
You need to sit down and take a timeout.
This is how things go.
Thank you guys.
We can't
so
even get through
much.
the introduction seriously before we get into the shenanigans.
That's 100% accurate. But guys,
He's
thank you
shaking
so
his
much
head.
for having us on. On behalf of the guys, we 100% appreciate this. This is a huge thing for us. We certainly enjoy doing anything Disney related, and you guys are a big staple in the Disney podcast community. And for us, it's a huge honor to be here. And just thank you
Who
guys.
told you that? Who told you that lie?
Well,
Before you came
I'm
on
not gonna
here.
lie. There was a certain person who approached me, and it was a really weird thing because it was like in a back alley, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Who are you?" It
Yeah.
was really creepy, by the way.
He's wearing a
I'd
trench
like-
coat.
Yeah.
He had a trench coat. He had like a dark mask on. It was like I can't even describe it because I'm
Very-
traumatized right now.
Yeah,
Back
he
with
just
that,
lied.
back
He
with
just
the end of the
told
day-
you lies.
Well, but it wasn't
He looked
because then I
like
was like,
this.
okay, let me check him out. And
He looked
and-
just like that.
Did he have
yeah,
black
he
rimmed
looked.
glasses?
He actually looked just like me, and I'm like, oh,
Black
that's
rimmed
weird.
glasses.
How'd that happen? No, I'm Shep. I'm just the other guy. So
I'm just the fourth one. So
I'm just the
yeah.
fourth guy in the crew here, and
That is the understatement.
no,
of the
I
year.
I honestly, and to be very frank, I appreciate what the whole Disney community.
You're being frank.
I'm going to be frank
We have-
because
Hold on
You
a
gotta put on
second.
about 20 years.
Got a friend.
And
Put up
well,
some
Frank
years.
Frank is my third name, and it's funny that Frank is actually below me in the Zoom chat because it's just odd. But no, I appreciate the Disney community because it brought me together with such an amazing group of guys like the other three here, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be here. It's amazing. So I really don't have much to say because I enjoy the whole. I'm going to talk
That
for
is-
like 8
that is-
hours here.
that is a
So I hope you
bold-faced
guys.
lie.
I hope you
bold-faced lie.
guys are
Nothing to
comfortable.
say.
I hope you guys have a very nice cushion on your chair because I'm going to start right now officially for the next 3 hours about
This
how.
is-
No,
We'll
I'm
make it
just
a
kidding.
three-parter. It's
It's
cool.
the
Filibustering.
7-part Tiger
Yes.
King
Exactly.
of podcasts.
Roar! Oh,
Exactly.
I'm not in on Tiger King. No Tiger King for me yet.
you
Uh-oh,
don't talk to
Steve,
me.
Got a buddy.
missing anything.
got a
I
buddy.
watched it. They told me I couldn't complain unless I watched it, so I watched it so I could complain even more because it was the dumbest thing I've ever.
and at the end of the day, you loved it because it was just so dumb. But
It was.
It's
anyway,
insane.
Did not love
Steve
it.
has
It was
6
terrible.
Tiger King shirts now, and that's all his TikToks.
Woke up this
Him and Carol
morning with Carol Baskins.
God. Lordy. Well, so I guess I was going to ask if you all met more in the YouTube community, Twitter community. How did you all connect?
We 100% we met through YouTube.
Yeah,
was
all YouTube.
Resort TV One. We all were in their chats. We did things, and then we wound up on stream together. I think me and Shep wound up on stream together on a
It was me and Shep, and we were talking about, you know, do we want to go, because him and I had never been live before, and Steve was on with another gentleman, and we were both
That's
really
where I met
nervous
Shep
to go
was on
on
that stream.
And
Were you on that
were-
stream too?
I was
Yep,
the guy. I was the
me
guy.
and Shep
I was the
were
guy
the-
behind the fence.
Yes.
We'll
Shep was learning how his
about-
camera worked.
I'll disclose that off topic. Or
And we
off,
kept-
You were the Wilson? I don't know.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so Shep and I met first. So we were like chit-chatting for about 3 weeks on Instagram, meeting on Resort TV 1 because we found out we were both from Massachusetts, and it kind of blossomed from there. Then we fell into Steve because Steve was going live at that time. I think it was on Thursdays or Wednesdays, Steve.
Always
And,
on. I only did one
always-
Wednesday for Meg. I've been
For
on-
Meg, that's right. And then we ended up, all three of us were on the stream together, and Shep and I was our first time. We were super nervous. And
I was there
Steve,
too.
We just, no, not this one.
Not this one. You weren't.
Not this one. This was way back. This
So
was when
the-
we first got together.
This was like early March of last year.
Yeah.
So Shep had been talking to me too. I didn't know he was talking to Zip at that time either. But
I'm
the
a
weirdest
sneaky son of a gun.
The guy gives me his phone number, and I don't even know who he is.
So just to clarify, because Steve comes off with this really creepy story, but I went back and I even checked.
It's very Tiger
am I that
King-esque, isn't it?
creepy?
Let Shep tell
Am I
it.
that creepy that I just give my, I just throw it out there? But no.
Do you want to give it out now?
He did.
Yeah, okay.
We don't
It
have a
is,
lot of listeners. It's fine.
555 101 5555.
Social
I
Security
accept
number.
text messages and voicemails. No, I'm just kidding.
So if you actually go back and watch that first stream, it's so funny because when Shep and I jump on and Steve was there, and Steve goes, "Hi, the Shep family," and the way he says hi to Shep for the first time was just hilarious.
Hello, the Shep family.
Oh man, it was so bad. I was in my basement. My phone was vertical. It was just a terrible. It was just a hangout. It was back when Hangouts was popular.
So
And
I was working because I do some night jobs in the construction industry, and so I was doing like a roadside night job on construction, and we're just sitting around doing nothing. So I'm like, oh, what the heck? I'll just jump on. So I'm just showing my face because I have a full reflective, jacket on, and I'm in my full construction garb, and so I was trying to be on the DL. But everyone
and it
makes
was
fun
the
of me
first
now
time I've
because
ever
I look
seen
like
him.
the guy from
kind of creepy.
because
Yeah, I
he
look
didn't
like the
show
guy
his
from
full
what's it-
face. It was from
Yeah.
here up. That's all you saw.
He was Kilroying it
I'm
the
like-
entire time.
No,
Like,
what's
guys,
that
call
show
me.
with,
Just call me.
with
It's
Tim
cool.
Allen?
I'm
Call
totally
me.
cool. Just call me.
With Tim
Hey,
Allen. What's
whatever.
that show?
Wilson.
Wilson.
Home Improvement.
Yeah, Wilson. Yeah. Only I literally was just like, I held my camera and I'm like,
I had people
Like, oh, that's
texting
what
me
Shep looks
asking me
like.
who the guy with the half the face was.
Oh my
but I
God.
mean, when you're bored and you're just sitting around watching people work, I mean, what are you gonna do? But go online and go
Creep some
online, I
people
guess.
That doesn't sound creepy at all either. Like,
No, it's not. It's not creepy.
You just go
Like,
online. You talk to everybody, and you give out your
people are
number.
like, "Who
What?
is this weirdo with like half a face?" And I'm like, "Hey, it's just half a face guy."
People were actually texting me telling me I need to teach him how to use his camera.
That was pretty solid.
Nice. Excellent.
But
All right.
but then we. I'll stop.
No. Keep going.
you have the floor.
There are no rules
ahead,
here.
Shep.
And we are big on just we ramble, we tangent, we have no rules.
I don't know how to tangent. That's
Yeah.
just not my thing. But
Yeah, Shep is tangentially challenged sometimes.
Right.
Very much so.
yeah, I freeze up usually when like anytime there's a camera and a microphone, I just freeze up. I just don't even
Yeah.
talk. So
Terrible.
it's actually a good thing we're all sitting in a room together,
Yeah.
6
totally.
feet apart. Because
Yeah.
if I was
Obviously.
actually not in a room with you
We're-
guys, it would just be
we're-
awkward. So,
Wearing
Yeah.
masks.
Right, obviously.
but no, I think
Gloves.
our whole thing started one night. Me and Dave were talking, and Dave was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to go live. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not doing anything. Let's do it." So he set up at the time it was Google Hangouts, is pre StreamYards, and we set up a Google Hangouts and we started chatting. And he's like, "Hey, who else do you think would be up for going live?" And I say, "Well, I think Steve and Zip would probably would be down." So the four of us got on this Google Hangouts thing. mind you, we haven't gone live yet, and
Haven't
we
hit the
just
button.
started shooting the breeze, just
About
literally.
Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, like
About
because
Galaxy's
we
Edge.
were all scheduled to go down for Galaxy's Edge opening in August, and I think we probably started this conversation maybe around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and we found ourselves up till about 3 o'clock that morning.
Never hit the
And
live button.
Never hit. Yeah, at the end of the day, it was like the whole thing was like, oh, let's get together and go live.
Yeah.
We never did it. We hung out backstage, never hit the live button, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, like, wow, this was a lot of fun. We
I think
actually
people
have
would
a
like to watch
we have a
this.
pretty good kind of connection.
Yeah.
Let's actually try this, and instead of just sit here and do nothing, let's actually click that little button that says live, so people
Tomorrow
can
night.
see it. So people can see us sitting around doing nothing and talking. And it literally just kind of went from there, and it was
Actually, we did that for 2 nights. And then on the 3rd night, we finally hit the live button.
I'm pretty
On
sure it
the
went for a
3rd
bunch of nights, because there was a good
There
chunk
was
of
a few
time
nights
where
in
it
a
was
row.
like 3 o'clock in the morning that I was going to sleep, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now. I feel like I'm a schoolgirl, like just like all
Well, giddy, I got
energized.
I
friends.
think he likes me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he likes me. We might hang out.
I'm like, I
don't
just
know.
found my little boyfriend. Let's do that. Like, it was
So
crazy.
excited.
It was. It was like such a genuine experience that like you just can't.
Well, and to that point, I don't think we would have had the modicum of success that we've had if it didn't start that way, because we honestly became friends. There was a lot of natural conversation that was going on. It wasn't just, throwing 2 or 3 people together and just trying to work it out. Like I think that's been, and we've said this a bunch, that's been the biggest part of our success, is like legit every morning when we wake up, we text each other. It's like the first thing that we do. It's just good morning, and then that's our day.
And we're approaching a year of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
approaching
single day
it.
for a year.
Yeah.
Everything we've done has been 100% organic too. Nothing was forced, and it was just
Yeah, for sure.
it was a true actual bond that just it fell in our laps, and the 4 of us together have not, like they said, it's been almost 365 days. I think we're 3 weeks shy, and we say good morning to every single morning, not miss one single morning. Even when we were together in zombie apocalypse camp, we were still good morning, guys.
In different
We're
rooms,
sitting right
texting
there.
each other.
Yeah.
So
Like it's whether it starts off with a text, and typically like we'll call each other on a daily basis just to check in. I mean, it's such a natural, fluid relationship that we've gained.
Yep.
Like I can't think of a relationship that I've had in my lifetime through all of the years of school, which was like 2, because I dropped out when I was like in 3rd grade, but that's another story. But
Of course, it's
we've
another
gone-
story.
gotta go to work.
But I mean, it's just like we've gone so far, and like you can't make it up what we actually were able to accomplish in such a short amount of time.
And it's one of those things where you could shut down the YouTube part tomorrow and we'd still do this every single day. Like
Yeah.
we're
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
we've said it a lot. A lot of people mention internet friends or YouTube friends. We're beyond, like, we don't even call it that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call each other
Chosen
brothers.
family.
It's
Yeah.
all day brothers every day,
Yeah.
And if throughout the day 3 hours go by and we don't hear from one another, we do reach out and say, "Is everything okay?"
Oh, yeah.
Like
I get-
what's wrong? Like what
Yeah.
happened? What's wrong?
Yeah.
Like
I
just
get How's Dave a lot from one zippity doodad. How's Dave?
I gotta check on you, bud. Make sure you're all right.
We'll talk afterwards. It's gonna be.
Well, like I said, I'm glad you mentioned the organic point, because that's like a big thing for me. Is like I try to do everything as organically as possible without putting the expectations, on anything else. Especially like in terms of this podcast, just like it's grown organically, and like even when it's plateaued, sometimes I'm like I feel the pressure coming on. Like, what do I have to do next? What do I do next? And I'm like, no, I just got. I want it to be organic, otherwise I won't enjoy it. What do you attribute to things happening as organically as they have, and when do you feel pressure, if you do feel pressure, kick in as especially as the YouTube grows as it has been?
Well, I think I will probably speak for all 4 of us here. I don't know if we feel any pressure at all about growth or whatever. We're just
Yeah.
We're not worried about it. That's
Kinda
the biggest
here.
thing.
Yeah.
And the organic part about it, at least in my estimation, guys, chime in. It's the fact that our goal is to get to know the community and interact with them and legit do it, because we know that we have X amount of people that show up every single week. expecting us to be there. There's a story in Zip. You can tell it. The first piece of mail that we got from one of our fans, some friends, whatever you want to call her name. Her YouTube name is Pam's Fan, and Zip and I have said panned about 7,000 times in regards to her. And I don't know, Zip, take over. You tell the story better than I do. You're the emotional one. Go for it.
So she just stop crying because everyone see you.
I'm gonna stop crying. Good thing this is a podcast.
Don't cry. I'm gonna cry if you cry. Don't.
No.
He has that effect on people.
He does.
Oh, good. But she, it was our first piece of mail, and she was an artist, and she talked about. She sent this long letter, and I wish I had it out, but it was the long letter, and it was she reached out saying how much that we mean to her, and she had kind of a rough life. She was suffering severely from depression, and she lost her job, and she wouldn't leave her house, and she found us on YouTube. She started watching Disney YouTube videos because she figured Disney made people happy, and she said, that can happen. I want to start watching them so I can be happy. And stumbled across us for some strange reason. I don't know how she found us, but she did. And she said that we changed her life in a way that you couldn't imagine. And this letter went on, and I actually started reading it on one of my live streams without reading it, like, because I opened it up right on the live stream, and I had to stop halfway through because I didn't know if it was something that she would want read, and eventually she did. So the next day I did end up reading the whole thing through. But she's an artist. I have paintings all over, all of the sketches all over the room that she draws of us. And reaching out to someone like that, and being
it helped start her. It helped start her drawing again.
Yes, and
exactly.
now she's drawing.
Like she stopped drawing, and then it inspired her to draw again.
Yep,
that's awesome.
Just we never thought we could like touch someone's life like that sort of way, and to do it to just one person. And now we're getting letters all the time. I got one today. I posted on Instagram from Team Marie Photography. That was just all heartfelt. And she, if you're having a bad day and you go back and read some of these letters, it just it makes what we're doing that much more meaningful.
You realize I still don't understand what we're doing. That's the
right, exactly. We're just being ourselves.
And just to kind of and to kind of piggyback from the beginning was like when we started this whole thing, we started it off like, as long as we're having fun, it doesn't matter what happens. So
we're real.
The second that we're like, this is not right, it's not working, like we're not in it to do this, that's when we said whatever. But at the same time, if we can bring a little bit of joy, a little bit of kind of comedic relief to people, especially right now specifically with the letters that we're getting, with the time that's going on, like if we can do anything to better somebody's life in any way possible, that is our goal. It has nothing to do with subscriber count. It had nothing to do with monetization. It had nothing to do with anything other than if we enjoy it, first and foremost, if we can do it and enjoy each other's company, let's do it. And then second, if people actually find some value, some comfort, then we are 100% all in, which grew into, which we'll talk about in a little bit, like just charity work and things like that we never expected to grow into that level. That makes every single time we sit here and do this on a Wednesday night worth it 100%. Like you just can't.
Yeah,
I can't find myself doing anything other than being here with these gentlemen on a Wednesday night doing this because A, we enjoy it. That was our first thing. And then B, if one person finds it somewhat entertaining, that's what we're here for. So.
And the best part is too, it's also reached out to it's not just the four of us, it's our families are involved in this as well. And we extend past the four of us to each other's kids and each other's families, and they're all part of our big family as well. So it's just been incredible.
Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve. and my son and
I was trying to get sentimental, but not that sentimental. I
was going to tell the Mike Wheeler story, and I decided not to because I was afraid everybody'd start crying.
Well, I had, I think it was 3 weeks ago, that I had reached out to Dave because it was the first time I had seen Pete and Preston. And I was like, Dave, you're going to need to tell me the backstory here because I was sitting there crying and I don't know the backstory. Can you share that story or?
100%.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So Pete was Pete's a good friend of ours. We met Pete down and we kind of knew him from YouTube ahead of time, but in August we went down to do a charity event for Give Kids the World, and Pete was very instrumental in that. He was the MC. He kind of gathered the people around, got he organized people for camera work and everything, and he did all the commentary throughout the whole thing. So we had a great time, and he went back down about a week later and wound up having some issues. And he thought he had the flu. His friend had the flu. He thought he had the flu coming back. Kind of confined himself for 3 days. I'm sorry, and come to find out that his I think his mother went to check on him one day, and they said if he's not better, he's gonna take him to the hospital. Well, they found out that he had some massive sores on the bottom of his feet, and Pete was diabetic. So they took him to the hospital where they found out that he had the septic shock and the sepsis shock or whatever it's called. I'm sorry, and the toxic shock.
Yeah, his diabetic was going septic. Yeah,
and so he wound up getting into his bloodstream, into his kidneys. They read him his last rites.
Oh my God!
That bad. He wound up losing a foot and a hand, but has made a recovery, and he just got back home the weekend.
Not just made a recovery.
No, he's come back alive and back, and he's back.
But so
he's got a lot of work to do still. He's still got a lot of.
We were getting phone calls, so this happened in September. Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah, you're fine.
We were getting phone call. I mean, this happened in September. We were getting phone calls in October, like a month later, and the dude, even through all this, had the most positive attitude.
Yeah,
was like, keep doing what you're doing. I'm always going to be here. It doesn't matter what happened. Like the support we got from that guy was so unmatched from anything you could ever imagine, especially with someone going through the circumstances he was going through. And it was like there was nothing happening. Yeah. So someone who had this most traumatic thing happening saying to us, keep doing what you're doing. I'm still watching. You're still my inspiration. Like,
Pete,
how do you not?
He's such a staple of the community too. And he meant so much to all of us. I actually flew out to him in early October, and met with his family. Went to watch his kid play a soccer game just because they meant so much to us.
That would be Preston.
Preston is his kid. If I had the opportunity, it worked out for me that I was able to go see him. Unfortunately, he didn't remember that, but we had some pictures and everything, so it helped. But yeah, he's made a great recovery. He's got a lot of rehab work to do, but the first step was him getting to his house, which happened about a week ago.
And beyond that, he's a piece of work.
Oh yeah,
dude's one of the he's one of the funniest people you're ever gonna meet.
Yeah.
Smart dude, just empathetic as all get out. Like he's an amazing human.
And talk about sentimental. If you have a one-on-one conversation with him, you want to be, you could get into tears very quickly because he speaks from the heart and he means it 100%.
And he's not a creator. He's always dubbed himself as just a supporter, and does that across a plethora of channels.
He calls himself a YouTube enhancer.
He calls himself an enhancer, but he's had some amazing shows. He actually did some shows. Prior to this whole thing going on, he's a big.
They were doing the NFL show.
Yeah, he's a big sports guy. So he started up an NFL show, and which was going amazingly well. I mean, because the dude is. I mean, if you go back and watch go back and watch the Resort TV One Beverly Challenge stream with his the whole thing and the vlog we put out on Saturday, like he's a natural just announcer. Like that's his calling. He should have been.
He did some stuff with
he did
wrestling, right?
Yeah, he was.
His brother owns a wrestling association.
And how many times did he scream "subscribe to Zippity Doodad" at the top of his lungs in a Disney park?
100 million times.
You least expected it. It was kind of embarrassing, but it was great at the same time.
Oh, it wasn't. Come on, man.
But he does that. He does all that.
But he does it
with 100% heart. Like just with 100% heart, with no like.
And real quick, I just want to make this known because it trickles down with his family. Preston is the most unique individual, and he met us in August. We met Pete and Preston for the first time. And Preston brought a baseball for all his favorite YouTubers to sign, including us, which was amazing. And, you growing up as a little kid, I remember going to the parks with my dad with a baseball trying to get Red Sox autographs and whatnot. But to actually see a kid come up and ask me to sign his autographed baseball was like, and not only ours, he asked my son to sign it because he saw
He was
it.
like PJ.
He also
also-
PJ and seen him on the live streams with me. And PJ, I mean, looks so highly up. He talks about that day all the time, and I know he'll never forget it the rest of his life. So
and that was
he
his
also
trip.
took the time to write us all cards and letters, every single
Yes.
one of us, and Pete didn't even know anything about it. He did it on his own.
individually.
The other thing too was like that August trip was his trip. Like that was his trip to dictate how he wanted to like experience Disney.
Preston, yeah.
And Preston, and Pete would be like, "What do you want to do today?" And Preston was like, "I want to hang out with these guys."
That's all he wanted to
And
do.
literally, the things that we did with Preston and Pete were amazing.
It was a trip
you-
never to forget.
It was a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of fun.
100%. I'll never forget that. I mean,
Oh no.
the
We said that we're going to have a bunch. We've already had a few good trips since then, and we're going to go on many more. But that trip alone will be one we'll never ever forget.
Yeah, you can't
That's awesome.
can't beat it. Frank was
Yeah.
there.
He was.
Listen, I was going to bring this up because having only spoken to Dave, really, prior to this, and we like had ships passing in the night
We were.
during Galaxy's Edge opening, and now I'm just like, oh, he was just hanging out with the cool guys, and
Right. He was with the cool kids.
It's fine.
Were you hanging
Ain't
out
cool
with,
enough
Dave?
for that,
I'm pretty sure I slept through most of that, but sure, if you want to call that cool guys. I mean, I was basically sleepwalking the whole time, but sure, yeah, okay.
I watched the video because I was going through my research, and I was like, oh, here's the day before Galaxy's Edge opened when they thought it would soft open. No, that's what he was doing the whole time.
The whole day.
Well,
The soft opening.
Hours.
The funny thing is like
Let's
after
talk
this
about
all
that.
happens, and Frank and I are like, we just missed each other. 2 ships passing in the night. I said, and we were trying to communicate through Twitter, and we both kind of looked at each other. It was through a screen like this, and it's like maybe we should like given each other's phone number.
Yeah.
Check that more
That's
often.
usually what happens too, though.
like,
Is like
yeah,
you get
100.
into this like social media atmosphere where you feel like you want to connect through just social media, but at the end of the day, that's why I gave my phone number out to Steve, and
And
I did it
everyone on
to
this
I did it to
podcast.
Zip too. I
Yeah.
said, "Hey
He's
Zip,
like,
like,
hey, here's my number.
I
I'm
don't-
like, who are you?
I don't really like, I don't really ever go to my messages, so
Yeah.
and I disable all my messages because I don't want to get 800 million dings a day. So like, if you want to reach me, hit my cell because
I looked at my
that's
wife,
what
I
that's
said-
what I'm gonna see, and that's
said-
how we really connected
I
better.
said, should I
too.
call him? Like, I started dialing his number. Like
He called me and he was like, "Hi, is this is
I
this
hung
Shep?" And I was like, "Yes, who's this?" And he's
Then
like, "Hi, I'd like to sell you some insurance." And I'm like, "What the heck?" And I'm like, "See you later." He's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. It's Zip." No, I'm just kidding.
For me, it was a
Like that.
huge step to get this phone number too, because I don't even on camera for the first 8 months I was on YouTube. I didn't get on camera. I just did some reviews and stuff and behind the camera. And
All
then
things fun.
just a year and a month
things fun.
ago. What's that?
All things fun.
Not all things fun. So a year and a month ago,
That's why I gave you my number. I was like, "He's all things fun." I mean, I
He's
got to
all
give him my
things
It's
fun.
gonna
number.
be fun.
If
When
all
we
things are
first
fun
started
is
streaming-
him, then I might as well give him my number.
this is what happens during a regular stream too.
Oh, yeah.
You try to have
Poor
a
Steve.
moment.
I feel everyone feels
Poor
bad.
Steve.
But no,
Trying to have a moment,
we love
guys.
Steve.
He was
but
trying to have a moment.
We only do this because we legitimately.
I know.
Steve is the anchor of this whole team.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh yeah.
I said it on Friday night. Like, we don't give Steve enough appreciation and enough gratitude because what the work he does behind the scenes, we don't do.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, you do too.
he
Don't.
he does. Steve every single week puts so much together for us, and the three of us,
Mhm.
100%, are so grateful for having him as an amazing, first of all, friend. Second of all, first of all, brother.
Mhm.
Second of all, friend. And the dude just, it's all heart. Steve is all 100% heart. He does everything, and just, we'll all chime in. We're like, "Hey, let me do this. Let me do," and Steve's
Mhm.
like, no, I got this, man. Don't worry about it. I got this. You know,
You
and
guys
it's-
do so much else.
but it's so humbling for us because to have somebody so amazing as Steve on our side, and to be literally, like I said, he's the anchor. That's huge. That's absolutely huge.
I'm like,
you
Steve,
can't-
did you?
There's not many people that can say they have a Steve on their back. So
I'm like, Steve, you
I
did 8
appreciate
hours of
that.
editing. What do you need a thumbnail or something? Take me 2 minutes.
It's like, hey,
let me do something, man.
You want
like
me-
I feel so worthless in my life.
you want me to answer some comments here? Or,
So
Hit the
real
like button.
like I said, the one thing I would do, I would take care of the website and YouTube. These guys take care of everything else, all the other social medias, all the other aspects of everything, all the ideas, everything. I just do the legwork for the website and for YouTube. They take care of all the other stuff. It's not like they do way more than they're letting on. But I do appreciate
that's
the
like
comments.
saying I'm gonna like run the government here. I'm basically gonna make it work.
Yeah.
You
We all
guys
have our own things
go
that we do.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a
Go
good
out
team.
there.
You guys go. You guys. You know what? Here's a sign. Go door to door, and I'll take everything else over. We're like,
Yeah.
okay. I'll do it.
But again, back to my points. So I
had a
didn't want.
point.
I wouldn't.
We-
behind
by
a
the way,
camera.
just
Yeah,
for the
you can try
record,
to
we were
mute
not.
all of us if you
For the
want.
record, we were not interrupting Steve.
Yeah. I love you guys. Anyways, so Shep gives me this phone number at like 2 weeks after I started being on camera.
It was like 5.
We had been talking off that before I went on camera.
I
actually
double
was
checked
on
because I don't want to be that creepy.
I was on some Jeopardy trivia streams. I actually was on there before that, but we got onto this, and he gives me his phone number, and I'm like, I didn't even give it back to him immediately. I was like, what should I do? This guy wants to.
I should probably
phone
look
number
him up
wants to
on
be
Google and make
friends.
sure he's not like some kind of weird like.
Shep's like, Zip, should I give Steve my number? I don't know. He seems like he's an all right guy. Like, yeah, do it.
But anyways,
All things
he
fun,
did.
do it.
I gave it back.
I mean,
to him.
anyone who has all things fun.
He's
Oh,
always
did you
good
see his
going,
Lego
Michael.
bricks? You got to give it to him.
So, anyways, that's Shep's
It's like
actually,
a Tsum stream. Here's my number.
Here's my number.
Shep is really is hugely responsible, as well as the other two. But Shep really took a crack into that shell that I had that I did not want to be. I don't know. I was very, very guarded for events that have happened in my life, but very, very guarded. And then
You were like an egg, and I
that's
just had to
gone.
like
Well,
just slam you against the countertop to break you
time
over.
out. Let's we gotta blame Megan for this.
That's
But it
true.
is Meg's fault to start with. It's he kind of started it because he gave me his phone number, and I'm pointing over
I
here
slammed you
because
against the countertop,
on
break
my
your
screen
egg.
he's over here.
But,
You know, yeah.
I'm like, you're pointing at Frank for me, dude.
Meg
They
essentially
all
was
have different views.
You're pointing at Jen for me.
I don't.
Meg
We're so
essentially-
used to pointing at people, we don't know how to not to do it. So
If you were an egg, essentially Meg laid you as an egg.
Yeah, FYI, shameless plug.
And then I
Mickey's-
broke you.
Mickey's
I
Magic
broke
28.
you.
Yes,
I
Meg's
cracked you on the
amazing.
countertop.
Meg went live one day, or Meg was live on Wednesdays, and she said, I'd been considering it, but I still didn't want to be on camera. And then she said, I'm going to Tanzania for 2 weeks. I want you to fill in for me. Kind of threw me over that cliff. So I did it. It was pretty successful. I found a slot on Monday nights, and I've been there ever since.
And Meg, by the way, too.
Just so you know, the amount of
Meg-
time-
Meg is amazing as well.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
She's live right now.
Shameless plug. Mickey's Magic 28.
yeah.
Megan.
Yes.
She
stuff.
yeah, exactly. She goes live at 9:00 on Mondays, and she absolutely is such an amazing person. And
She'll make you want to
We-
smile.
we've had some
She's
pretty
watching.
amazing after stream hangouts, and yeah, she's
She's funny.
She's
Yeah,
been
she's a
responsible
great
for me
friend.
spending
Great friend.
lots of money on painting supplies because she's got me into painting again. So
Also,
by the way, every other stream is Steve painting.
Yeah.
sometimes
Also,
it's the face, sometimes it's a canvas.
every
Is that where your work behind you, Steve? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
not the wall.
What?
The wall's not his.
The wall?
Well, the
behind you?
wall's not. I didn't paint that. I painted all of this
All
stuff
right.
over
You're
here.
like, what?
I was like,
No, Well, I mean, yeah.
He
I
did.
the
He
wall-
did
no.
do. He did do that baby Yoda in your TikTok video, though. Dillo does
On the wall.
on the wall
Oh,
in
right,
Manhattan.
yes.
And it-
Thank you so much.
Nobody else can see it, but
That was out
this,
on Long Island, so, you know.
This is
Long
Shep,
Island.
Shep leaving number 2. Just keep
Yeah.
track because
Just keep
it's,
just
Yeah.
number,
Shep,
number
two
two.
page left.
Yeah.
He's not
I
leaving
actually-
for number
I actually
2. He's
painted
just a
these.
second time.
these things
Ooh, nice.
and Pascal and address and things like that. I don't know. She's
Awesome.
got me.
Steve paints.
I didn't use. I used to, and then I quit. And now I used to do puzzle. I do a lot of puzzles, but this is another outlet where I can pay attention
A
to
lot
YouTube
of
and paint at the same time. I have over 300 Disney puzzles glued. So,
Yeah.
and I have the world's largest puzzle. Or as far as I know, the world's largest puzzle. It's 22 and a half feet long and 6.5 feet tall. It's 40,000 some odd pieces.
And he sleeps on it.
It's
Yeah.
Disney. It's Disney as well.
Oh my goodness. Did you say you were on Jeopardy?
I did.
Not the real
so,
Jeopardy.
So not real
I was
Jeopardy.
like,
Let me hear.
I don't want to interrupt him because he's finally getting to speak, but I need to go back to that.
So a Disney Life for Me used to run Jeopardy on their channel, and I found them one day. I started stumbling across a lot of people. I only had a few people at the beginning. Then I started branching. I thought, well, let me see who else is out here. And I found them one day, and it was Jeopardy night. They do trivia 3 nights a week, and then they do Jeopardy the 4th night. And the winners from their 3 chats got to go on Jeopardy on camera and do it. And it was the last night, and I said, hey, can we play in the chat? They told us we play in the chat. I said, oh, that's good. So I thought, okay, I'll just play along in the chat, and I wound up winning that night. So then I said, they reached out to me and said, congratulations, I was new and all this. Would you like to play during the regular? I said, sure. What do I got to do? So I joined chat. You win the chat, you get to be on Jeopardy. So I did that 4 times. It was fun, real fun. They don't do it anymore, but it was pretty incredible.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's Disney Jeopardy, I guess I should say.
Right. The best kind, as far as I'm
Disney
concerned.
Jeopardy.
Now,
Do any of you come from Disney backgrounds in terms of jobs, or have you ever worked there? Were you just
there when you were kids?
Yeah.
I studied it
Did
in
you?
college. I studied their customer service, and my dream job was, like everybody's, was to be a Disney Imagineer.
Right.
But no, never worked there.
Yeah.
Hope to one day.
Nice.
I just went to the parks every year since I was
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
So
No,
hashtag-
in August we never saw each other at the end of
I
August.
know. We need to go through our pictures, Dave, and
It's
just
like
find
a
a little
history.
date
Pictures and-
in our
yeah.
picture in the
There's
background or something.
it's possible, but
Yeah.
I think we talked about this. You guys, I think we staggered and would like miss each other most of the times because I
Yeah.
always went in the summer.
That's why we
Yeah.
continued the ships passing in the night at
Yeah.
Galaxy.
That's
So,
right.
like, you gotta
You'll
just keep it
never
going.
meet. Yeah.
Well, once we get out of quarantine here, we got to do the Eastern
Well,
PA meetup.
Wait a second. Wait. We're
can do an
almost
NYC
in
meetup.
May.
We're not far. Me and Zip aren't far.
Yeah.
Wasn't someone's birthday trip going to happen in May?
No, it's gonna be June.
June?
June.
Oh.
That's El
We had a
Consolado at
big
this
trip for
point.
June.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's a big birthday, too.
Yeah.
It is.
Big,
It is.
big
I mean, not
birthday.
as old as Frank, but pretty big.
Nowhere near as
No,
old as
no
Frank,
one's
but-
ever.
Is
as
Zip
old
not
as
the oldest
Frank.
person in the room?
No.
Yes.
Wait a second. What?
What?
All right.
Wait a
Are
second.
you older than 43?
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Zip's not the oldest. Zip's not the oldest. I love it.
Steve has a complex now that he's hit 40. He's just like, Zip's still older than me. But you know what, Steve? You're in your 40s, bud.
I'm only 12 in my heart.
See?
Wait a minute. We're talking about that. I'm like 8.
Well,
And
I'm
regardless-
I'm 37, so
Yeah.
You'll be
Oh,
38.
That's the
yeah.
baby
in a
of the
month or
group.
I'm older than you, then that makes me sad. I was hoping I was gonna be the youngest one.
I'm the baby.
so. But you don't look that old. Is that
I'll
help?
be. Yeah, no, I
thank
look way
you.
older than what I look. I mean, look on camera. So, I'll be 38 in July. So I'm only 2 months away from 38. But
Anyway,
And real
I just
quick,
turned
he's the
38
baby
in
of the group.
January.
And before we go any further, we were talking about the Galaxy's Edge soft opening.
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, geez, you wasted your whole entire day."
so worth it, by the way.
100%.
That never happened. But you know what? We had the best day. Just not even going on one ride, just
Yeah.
hanging out,
Mm.
just the interactions and how much fun and the laughs.
Mhm.
And that right there is the reason what makes this real is because we don't have to do things like that to have fun.
Mhm.
We can take the worst situation possible. And we had a hurricane cut our trip short and we turned it in. I mean, you can
We still made
Not
the
my
best of it.
trip.
yeah, we're always going to see the positive outlook on everything. Hopefully continue to see the positive outlook.
I mean, we could hang out in the woods without cable and water, and still have a
And
good
we
time.
did that. But
And we
First of all, we had
but-
water and we
Oh
had
yeah, that's right. We did. No,
TV.
I
They
didn't
have some
drink.
pretty
I
You
didn't
gotta
drink,
go to the
yeah,
frick
I didn't
and
drink
get
any
it, is
water.
all.
We got to have some like 6-inch lifted Jeeps to have some fun too, though.
Oh,
fall through a
And-
window,
and-
fall
and-
through a door.
and potentially other things that we're not going to get into.
I'm gonna pull a Shep.
My first experience, I think I 100% missed the question, but you're talking about what?
I'm talking about whatever you want.
Whatever.
We're talking about
and
like your youth and how Disney.
my goals and
Yeah.
aspirations in this
Yes.
in this
Mhm.
life. So let me just start back when I was actually about 5.5 years old when I realized that I wanted to be a live streamer.
Wow.
So
So you knew
here
exactly what
I
it
am. Here I am. I was 36 when I started live streaming. When I was 5.5, I dreamed this.
Yeah, that's.
So-
I'm so happy.
So for anyone listening,
Yeah.
It all goes down to what you want to be when you grow up is all about what you want to be as a child. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm
What
pretty
are
sure
you
when I was
talking
5.5,
about?
I didn't even know what the world was. And actually the internet was not around at 5.5. So
Oh my
Obviously.
God, I love it.
We are the same way though, that we always say we can go into the parks and we don't need to go on a ride. We don't need to be on the go constantly. Like we can just go and hang out and walk around and we're like, we're good. I'm fine if I got on no rides this trip. I don't care.
Well, it's like
that was like our
yeah.
June trip. Our June trip we had. So August, I mean, we did have like a lot of stuff planned in August because of the opening of GE and stuff. But
January.
like our yeah, what did I say, June?
No,
Or January,
no,
whatever. All the months are the same basically at this point because you don't
June
really know
hasn't
what month
happened
it
yet.
is.
It's Groundhog Day.
Because we, it's anyway. So January, we the only thing we had planned obviously was we did the Give Kids the World run. We did the 10K. But other than that, I mean, we just hung out. We went to the Riviera Resort for lunch. We just kind of bounced around, and it was probably one of the best trips I've had.
Got to experience Nomad for the first time.
Yeah, and
nice.
Nomad. Yeah, we hung out in Nomad Lounge. I actually have like
Amazing.
a pretty awesome little GoPro just time lapse of that of just chilling and sitting there, and I'll just sit there and watch it.
And then we
that was an
did
amazing
squeeze in
time.
another charity event with Give Kids the World real quick too with the mini golf with Corey.
We did that
Oh,
too,
yeah.
100%. Yep.
Yep.
On Thursday night, we did the mini golf thing, which was awesome. We raised another like few $1,000s there too.
Yep.
And
When you guys were at Jelly Rolls, or was that August when we were at Jelly Rolls?
That was August.
August. That was
Jelly Rolls was August, and then we realized how expensive it was, and then we found an alternative for January.
It's still my favorite though. So.
My favorite.
But we
too.
did have
January was pretty
thousands
epic though, because some of the stuff we hung out with Paige Miss Morrow, and he did like his creative thought is amazing.
Mhm.
He comes up with these amazing things, and he popped up the camera, let it fly, and we all did that little dance towards the camera, which you could see.
Oh my gosh, that was so
which
much
was
fun.
amazing.
So awkward.
But
We hit 1,000 subscribers that night too on
Yeah.
Resort TV1
Yep.
stream.
Nice.
It was a big party.
it was a lot of
Awesome.
fun.
That was early January. You guys were there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the
first
8th or
week.
9th, I
Yeah.
think we were there.
Because I think this was another time we were saying with Dave, we're gonna miss you guys by like
Yeah,
a few weeks because we were there at the end of January.
Yeah, you were there end of January.
I was there at the end of January too.
Marathon weekend. I think you
Well,
were there. At the same time.
that was because
Okay.
you decided that I have a flight that
That was my
has a
That was
layover
early
in Orlando,
February.
and I'm just gonna stay here forever.
literally I was sitting in we went to Zombie Apocalypse Camp. I think it was January 24th.
No, it was 30. It was the 31st. It was Super Bowl weekend.
Super
Was it
Bowl
Super
weekend.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
we were
I
there for
wasn't
Groundhog Day.
Steve
dude.
has
I
the
wasn't
worst
there. That's
memory
right, it
of
was
the
Groundhog
group,
Day.
so just to let you know.
So on February 3rd, then
I wasn't there.
I was sitting in an Orlando airport
I was there.
waiting for my connecting flight, and everybody started saying I made a joke. Brought Corey and Dale, Corey Meets World and Dale from Resort TV1 back to the airport. Took a picture of it, threw it on Instagram and Twitter, and said, "Now I just got to decide if I want to go back through the gate or not, and go back with these guys." And then everybody's like throwing it at me. And I was like, I wonder if I could actually make it happen. And I started thinking in my head. I thought, nah. And I sat down, and about an hour later, I was like, started doing the scenarios. I thought, okay, if Southwest can hold my luggage, they will determine whether or not I'm going to stay or not. It was a chore, but they did, and so I stayed.
Look, don't let him fool you.
That's
He
amazing.
planned this whole thing. Who
I
has
agree.
a layover
Zero.
from Pennsylvania
Time
to
out.
Indiana
Zero.
that goes to Orlando?
This guy. This
It's like, hey, let's go to Japan, and
You
then
could, you
come
could
back
basically
over to
you could
Detroit.
basically throw a rock from where we were. You could throw a rock to his house in Indiana. You could literally just be like, here you go, Steve.
Like, well, I guess I gotta go through Orlando.
But somehow
I did.
you went like
That's the
crazy thing.
150,000 miles south.
My connecting flight on the way up was in Atlanta, Georgia, and my connecting flight on the way back was in Orlando, Florida. They were the cheapest and nonstop flights. I mean, they weren't nonstop. They were the cheapest and only flights on those days. They don't go from the half hour it would take me to get over to where Dave's at, and they just don't do it. So it was David planted a seed and
I
said,
called it.
"You're going to stay there." I was like, "Dude, I'm not. I don't ever do anything like this." Sure enough, it was,
You did it.
My bad.
Probably the best
it was,
decision ever.
I was sitting there. I was like, "What am I doing?" As soon
But
as they told me
you
to
needed
go-
that because that was like just such an amazing time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I got
everything worked out in such a way that you couldn't even like plan that.
Oh, I know. I know.
You're sitting in an airport, and literally every single plan that you could even imagine to happen happened
Just worked
fluidly
out.
without
Without
any
hiccup.
pre-planning,
Without
and
prejudice.
like you just can't
Like
make that
what?
up. So why not just go with what you have?
I had the car, I had the place to stay, I had everything up except I said, okay, if Southwest can do it, I'll do it. And then I got to experience Festival of the Arts, which was the first time. It's something I've been dying to see.
The only thing he
Forms,
had though
if you
was
will.
camouflage clothes, so he had to go and buy some clothes because
I did have to go buy clothes. Well, it's really weird because the only thing I had in my suitcase was camouflage clothes, massive winter coats because it was really cold, and a ballerina costume. And the looks
And
I got
That's usable anywhere.
An inflatable ballerina
an inflatable
costume.
ballerina
Starting at the
costume.
beginning.
That's another podcast.
Isn't that
Jen.
The
really
looks I
nice,
got,
or-
there was a wig in there too. So, but outside of that, the looks I got in the
Look at
airport were a little odd.
Frank's
Frank's like, what's going on?
Frank's like,
That's
I don't
a
know what
whole
just happened.
story. That would be, yeah.
If you've not seen the we have a
That's
video.
like a
that we
3.5
filmed.
hour podcast. So just,
By itself.
Dave,
That'll leave
Shep and I will
scars.
just leave now. You guys can finish up with Steve.
bye, guys.
That'll
Have a
leave
good
mental
night.
scars.
So funny.
Hey, it's me, Frank, and we hope you're enjoying this first of 2 parts with the Diz and That crew live streaming on YouTube every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. This last segment was recorded on Monday, April 26th, prior to the Orange County, Florida mandates being issued for both Disney and Universal. So this is a great conversation that we're about to have, but we did not yet have the information that was the Orange County mandates in Florida. But it is the final segment of the first part of this episode, with the Diz and That crew come back next Thursday for the second part of Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz, featuring the Diz and That crew.
Dave knows that when I say before we go, that means there's 20 more minutes left.
Right, of course.
Minimum.
So an hour. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
When do you speculate the parks are reopening? That'll be my final question. Before the
I speculate 2 different openings because I think we're going to open and reclose. But I think the first one will be July 1st, whatever it is, right there before the 4th of July. But I think we're going to wind up reclosing due to I believe the analysts when they say there's a bigger wave coming, and a more aggressive one. So I think we're going to open, but I think we'll close down 3 or 4 months later, and it'll be next year again.
And I refuse to answer this because that's what my live stream is all about tomorrow. So
all right.
no, I'm just
Nobody's going to
kidding.
hear the podcast till
I'm just
Wait,
kidding.
it's Thursday. It's Tuesday. Wait a minute.
No, actually-
As I mentioned on my live stream, which you can catch over on YouTube.
No, I actually agree with Steve. I think it will open maybe mid to late July, but I do think it will close again because I do feel like there is another wave coming.
So here's my take. I think that they will attempt to do some semblance of a phased opening for locals. If people want to come out, cool. But if you look at the shape of the economy currently, the amount of people that are unemployed that will not be going on vacation this year, I doubt that they're going to reopen to capacity. They don't have a good business reason why. If it were me, I'm opening Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. Don't open Epcot. Let Epcot just run rampant, making that park what it needs to be for 2021 and for the 50th anniversary. And I could see them doing something similar at Animal Kingdom. There's a lot of overhead there. Why are you going to open that park? You got to open Galaxy's Edge because it's at least going to be a draw, and you got to open your flagship park. So I see that happening probably, and I think I'm a little earlier than these guys. I think it's going to be end of May. They're going to do a locals only opening. And Shep and I were actually talking about this just the other day. At least if you open to the locals, you can get restaurants open. You can open, even if you're not opening the entire resort, you at least can open the restaurants, get some revenue there, and get that through the summer, kind of like a Disneyland-esque type of business model. But I don't believe whether or not there's a second wave, which is probably going to happen, but whether or not there is one, I still don't see a total reopening until at least Marathon Weekend in 2021. And honestly, maybe not until they open celebrate the 50th anniversary, because they really have no reason to open in a capacity where I really doubt that you're going to have a lot of entertainment spending over the next 12 to 24 months.
And when they do open, it's going to be a lot different. They were talking about maybe not doing the parades and the fireworks right off the bat because of the crowds being so close together. So it's definitely not going to be the Disney type of parks when they officially open.
Yeah. Well,
so I'll throw in my 2 cents. So like, in my opinion, even if everyone says, okay, you know, the president says, okay, June 1st is the day we're going to open things up. Well, you can't have people in there prior to June 1st to get things open for June 1st, especially a giant company like Disney who has the number of stuff that needs to be in order. You're looking at a minimum 2 to 3 months to get people in there, to get it clean, to get people retrained, because now you're months without training, get them back into some sort of normalcy. You got food organizations you got to get re-up. I mean, you're talking 3 to 4 months just to get it open. So it doesn't like, so let's say June, again, June's the hypothetical, let's open everything up. They're 3 to 4 months out from that. They're not opening until September, October. Heck, at that point, they're getting federal funding because they're a giant organization. And they're also saying, hey, you know what, let's get things done. Because they can still have people in there. They can still have things getting worked on. They got the anniversary coming up. So why not just put the effort in? Let's get things done. And, you know, June, I always say June, but January 1st, let's, you know, we'll open at that point. That way we give us enough time to just get things done. We don't have to stress about getting things open. Like Zip said, there's going to be so many different measures that may be implemented to sustain an opening of a significant amount of people. Who knows what will happen by then?
I've heard they're going to try to wipe down every ride after
exactly.
every.
So I mean,
it's going to be
with the amount of pressure involved. If someone says, "Hey, we're going to open May 1st, June 1st, July 1st," you're talking months later for an organization like Disney just to implement the strategies to get that place operational, functional, and even any kind of realistic goal to have things in somewhat of a fluid situation. Like you just can't open it June 1st if they say June 1st is the day, because you can't even hire people prior to that. You can't bring people in prior to that.
Plus they keep canceling the college programs.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. And to be clear, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
No, you're good, Steve. Go.
I think the country is going to open up before that. I don't think it's going to take near as long. Shep has great points. I think
the country will open up, but
I think Disney's
they can't
well
get
prepared.
things operational by then.
Yeah, I think Disney's well prepared. I think they're going to have some training and stuff to do, but I think they were on top of their game when everything went down. I think their cleaning methods, they've got commended for their cleaning methods. I don't think it'll be 2 months, but I think the country will open up here in the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and I think Disney will come a month and a half later at most. That's just a guess. I think they're better prepared, but he does bring up some great points about it could not be feasible for them to open up.
Yeah, because technically you can't have a mass group of people in their training prior to when they say it's okay to have people in their training.
You can have just your regular groups of how many people.
There's no doubt that Disney has a pretty significant contingent, and they're keeping things at a normal pace of cleaning and making sure everything's up to date, painting and all, and so on. There's certainly people still working. There's no doubt about that. But to have 40,000 people in there to start opening a facility, when if you technically can't open until June 1st, you can't bring that 34,000 people in until June 1st to even start training. You know what I mean? So like if they say June 1st is the opening day for the country, you're bringing 40,000 people in June 1st, and now you have to train them and get them squared away. You have to get everything implemented for the next couple months.
I still feel they're going to do everything they can to get something open for Florida residents ASAP, because right now revenue. You know, that's they count on that, right? They count on the monthly payments from their local AP holders, so they're going to want to get it to a point where they have to pay for that.
I think I think there's some government incentives right now that are going to say, I don't think they're going to struggle right now. So with everything going on, I think they're getting enough government funding to say, they can dictate how they're going to do it.
I know I said it on the front end, you know, when this whole thing was happening, there was a call made from someone in the White House
Oh,
to
100%.
the parks saying you have to be a leader in this. You have to shut down the parks.
Yep.
Disney's in
much,
the know.
as much as
With a company that big, they have
it
influence.
Had to be. So I feel like as much as that was on the front end as being the leader to take the steps necessary to implement social distancing, they're going to be in the same boat from some semblance of government pressure, whether it's pressure or suggestion or incentive, to be the place. And not only that, we all know that Disney, from a customer service standpoint, is A1 top notch. They're going to be the standard for how you get groups of people together in a safe capacity. So 100% Disney's going to be on the front end of this. And Shep, I don't disagree that it's going to take some time, but whether it's 34,000 people trying to open 4 parks or a very, very focused group of A1, like hitters that worked at multiple parks, they're best of the best that aren't CPs, that are employees that might have worked at multiple parks, but are trained across the board and can easily look at, some of the different ride systems and whatever, and be trained quickly. They're going to get something open relatively quickly, and 9 chances out of 10, it's going to be Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
I think they're going to rehire a lot of the employees.
Oh yeah.
I think at the end of the day, what's going to happen is someone's going to dial a number, and you're going to get a recording, and it's going to say, 1 if you want a Mickey recording for your bedtime, or 2 if you want a Minnie recording for your bedtime, or 3 if you want a Goofy.
That already exists.
Where are you going with this?
Actually, I have no idea where I'm going.
You guys can cut that out.
Don't cut that out, because that's how I
got my kids to bed last night. I was like, you want to hear a message? I know some people that you guys think I don't know, and here he is, and it's Mickey. And Mickey's like, go to bed, kids, because if you don't, I'm going to be mad.
That's funny.
They listen, though. They were like, oh my goodness, you know Mickey? And I'm like, dude, come on. I'm like a YouTuber of Disney stuff.
I'm a YouTuber of Disney.
Do you know who I am, kids? Our dad.
I'm like a Disney YouTuber person thingy of sorts.
That's the best description of Shep I've heard in a long time.
I had to get off the whole dramatic.
Yeah. That was probably the most serious
conversation we've had all night about.
No, not just that.
Not all night.
I was sitting there, I'm like, man, this is getting really deep.
And I was totally
really deep, and I got to change this because this is ridiculous.
I was totally debating it too, because I was like, do I want to close it on this? I don't know, but I do want to know their opinions.
We're not closing on this. Continue. Dis and That on YouTube, DISNTHAT. Check it out there. Dis and That 4 on absolutely everything else when it comes to Twitter, TikTok, and such.
Until that time, she's Jen, and I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.
Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz, featuring Jen Cardillo-Snyder and Frank Cardillo. The theme was composed by Matt Harvey. The intro and the outro was performed by Lindsay Zerugian. The Dillo's Diz fact checker is Mel Dale. You can follow Dillo's Diz on Twitter, on Instagram, and on TikTok at Dillo's Diz. Dillo's with an S, Diz with a Z. You can subscribe to Dillo's Diz on YouTube, youtube.com/Dillo's Diz, and you can like Dillo's Diz on Facebook, facebook.com/Dillo's Diz. Go to dillosdiz.com for more information, throwbacks, archives, etc., etc. dillosdiz.com. Get your copy of Louis Gravance's book, Surface is a Superpower, right now on Amazon Kindle for only $9.99, or get a hard copy via Mascot Books. Go to greatkeynotespeaker.com to learn more about Louis Gravance and follow him on Twitter at Louis Gravance. We'll see you real soon, and that real soon is next week for Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. The Improviser's Guide Network 2020.